good morning to you all. This is Adam Beanstock here. I'll just try and get this camera angle right. I'm come to talk to you about these helical strings. Well, the title is Whistling Strings, and I think as a violin player, as you got it up to your ear, underneath your chin, you can hear discrepancies, whistling noises there that shouldn't be there. And it gets very annoyed, and you notice it more when you play back your recordings of yourself. And so I'm going to come to terms with this. First of all, I've got a baroque bow, which is fine for certain types of music, baroque music and Irish music as well, because a lot of Irish music developed in the 18th century when they did have those type of bows. But secondly, these helical strings, they're expensive, but they say they are good for folk music, and they're as you can see, we've got fine tuners and adapters, and they're all metal strings, including you can hear the metallic sound of them. They're very I mean, they're fine for actually plucking. They almost sounds Indian, doesn't it? There's a lot of resonance on the open strings, and it takes a lot of skill to not to obscure this. To make these strings really ring out as they should do, and as you know, a lot of folk music, Irish traditional, Scottish music, Appalachian, or whatever you like, bluegrass, it's yeah, mustn't forget English tunes either. The open string sound is characteristic. And this is why they're predominantly in first position, because you need the open strings resonating out, and whether the strings are actually played with the bow, they still resonate. You play these two, or just you've got to get that resonance as much as you can on the stop notes as well. And it's this resonating, and this is what these strings are designed for. But when you come to play Bach or something more complicated on the finger work, position work, and everything else, I experience it, probably other people do as well. You get discrepant sounds that shouldn't be there, of scuffs, squeaks, rattles, very annoying sounds that if you hit an open string, especially an E string, can whistle because it's not vibrating correctly. Well, with the helical, with the adapters, you actually get all of the strings actually potentially whistling at different intonation, because it's not speaking properly. But some people play it out more. So if you really putting pressure on the bow and really playing out, it will get no chance to whistle. But when you're playing more subtle, soft music, which is very difficult to play, when you need it, that's sympathetic. You really got to get to know what your string is doing. But as opposed to playing Bach or baroque music, I would recommend not using helical strings. I would go for piastro gut strings. If you could get gut strings without the adapters, and I think you may be able to get a gut E string. but so they're very, very hard to find now because they stopped making them during the First World War, because they have to be made of the very fine gut material, and they became very expensive and very rare to produce. And of course they decided to replace it with wire with an adapter because it was more robust. And of course the thing is with gut strings, you got to it's the tuning of them. You got to really with the temperate tuning and everything, you've got to get used to how they're going to behave in different temperatures and how you're going to play. There's more problems with them in that way, but you'll get the most beautiful pure sound, and you'll have less of this whistling metallic sound from the violin. So this is my thoughts on it. So if anyone turns around and says I'm talking a load of rubbish, please tell me. But I hope this is my opinion on strings. I've only mentioned helicore and piastro. There are other types of strings as well, and of course the other thing is the Baroque violin. If you're playing a Baroque violin, you wouldn't have a chin rest or shoulder rest. So braccio, you're probably best to have something, because the attire in the 18th and the 17th and 18th century was you had something protective around your neck anyway, so you could easily hold the violin without a shoulder rest or chin rest. And you had before Renaissance, you were playing them a braccio right down here, so there was far more relaxation of not. But the modern violin now is becoming tight up against the jawbone and up here. And I think this creates tension as well for top performers. Well, but let's trying to live up to the top performers. People get very stressed out about it, and I've seen it. People go in tears. They get devastated. They cannot make the grade. Especially classical musicians are getting in orchestras or soloists or trying to be teachers, and the amount of stress I've seen of people, it's incredible, because they feel they just can't make. Doesn't matter how hard they try, they're not going to make it. It's a very thing. Anyway, that's another matter. So but the main things, because I'm 66 now, that I need to enjoy my music as much as possible and to be intuitive about it and to learn more from other people and other different styles and the history of music. It's a whole tablet of mine of information out there, and pleasurable experiences of listening to other performers. Anyway, I better get off air now. I think I'll be rabbiting on. So that's the one thing I was going to say about the Baroque violin is I think everyone's told you that the fingerboard and the neck is slightly more, that you see it tilts up like that, and that was done in I think it was the middle of the 18th century to make the violin more projective, because without that the violin became more resonant and more an intimate sound. But it was great like that for ensemble work. But when the solo, the concertos, they needed the violin to project more. So that was they even converted the Stradivarius violins and the Guarnaris that were made first of all like that. They were originally Baroque violins that actually changed the neck. Anyway, someone else would tell you about that anyway, so I'm signing off for now.